Hello, everybody. Once again, welcome to another episode of the AI Inside Podcast, the show where we take a look at the AI that is layered throughout so much of the world of technology. Once again, coming from my garage, although a different corner of the garage, just to kind of spice things up a little bit. I am one of your hosts, Jason Howell, joined as always by Jeff Jarvis. Good to see you again, Jeff.
Are you building the Taj Mahal of bathrooms? Why is this taking so long? It's a bathroom.
No, you're right. It should. I'm so sick of the project, but I realize at the same time it's kind of, qualifies as a first world problem. My bathroom remodel is taking too long. My life sucks. I'm fortunate and happy that we can do this and that we're going to have a new bathroom at the end of it, and it's looking great. It's just not quite there yet. And to be honest, the contractors are not here right now, so it's possible I could have done it in the inside of the house, but it would suck to start the show and then suddenly they're there and bang. And so, once again, I'm taking the risk that the garage door that's behind me doesn't suddenly fling open because they need to pull the vanity out from the corner over there.
It's not cheap to install an entire swimming pool in the bathroom and golden nymphs.
The amount of gold plating that we have in this thing is off the hook.
I'm sure it's very Trump-like, yeah.
We're going to invite, Trump over and get his approval.
He'll be impressed, yes.
So that AI Inside doesn't get removed from the airwaves. We do what we got to do. So that's why I'm in the garage one more time. I don't know. Why don't we just jump right into actual news that has something to do with AI? Because that's what we do here. And I think one of the bigger, or at least the more recent news, is this whole Nvidia OpenAI investment thing. So we'll start with that. Nvidia is stepping up its role in AI infrastructure. And boy, howdy are they. Last week, Nvidia had invested $5 billion into Intel. Now, revealing plans to put $100 billion into OpenAI. OpenAI plans to deploy around 10 gigawatts. I always want to say that in the Back to the Future way, but anyways, 10 gigawatts of NVIDIA hardware and data centers for its future models. So 4 to 5 million GPUs. Put another way, about the same power as 10 nuclear reactors. Kind of sounds way more ominous when you put it that way, but there you go.
By the way, before we get into it, somebody asked on the socials this week, when did we start measuring compute in watts?
Oh, well, yeah, that's a great question.
Gigawatts. I'm amazed by that.
Answer.
But yeah, no matter what, it's huge. It's expensive. 100 billion, 100 what was that? How much?
$100 billion
into OpenAI. Fascinating things about this. One is the problem of what's called circular financing.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. Right, because I've certainly heard about that, and I'm not a finance guru in any way, shape, or form, as my wife will attest. So what is this whole circular financing?
Well, the concern here is they invested money in OpenAI, and OpenAI uses that money to then buy chips from Nvidia.
Oh.
And so
who's paying who here?
Well, right. And in a sense, the concern is, it's all in the open. We're all seeing it. It's not that big in that sense. But the concern is that Nvidia is buying its own chips. Right? In terms of its results now, some good proportion of them will be money from Nvidia sent back to Nvidia.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
So that's one thing. The other thing that's fascinating to me, and I didn't put anything in the rundown. I just saw somebody making comment on it online. If you were Nvidia's other customers in the AI world, would you be a little concerned about Nvidia's conflict of interest?
Yeah.
And
I imagine
Nvidia investing in Intel was a rescue, right? And I remember the day when Apple was rescued back in the day by investments. That's been happening. That's fine. That's it's not a bad thing for the ecosystem as a whole.
Right.
But in this case, if you're Google, if you're Anthropic, if you're pick them, Perplexity, any of them, you might express some concern about NVIDIA's interests, both financial and otherwise, in one company. And then the third thing that occurred to me, Jason, is that OpenAI has tons of investments, but it's never enough.
Yes.
And the form of investment, Microsoft went through this, where Microsoft made a huge investment in like terms, that is to say, in compute. And then they've finally reached their, not divorce, but their, how do we think about this? Their amicable separation.
Their EOL, their end of life.
Right. Maybe and Microsoft gets basically a third of the company because of what it contributed back in the day. In compute, and now we have Nvidia contributing basically compute, but just through a circular thing. Yeah. So how much does OpenAI need? And it's just this constant. We have more stories that'll come to this in a few minutes. This need for scale upon scale upon scale upon scale.
Yeah,
and that concerns me. Karen Howe's book, The Empire of AI, about OpenAI, she makes a very, I think, important point that with all the attention that went to OpenAI, all the good attention that went to them from ChatGPT's release on, now everybody's saying it's scale. That scale's the answer to everything. We just got to throw in more scale. I'm right now, perhaps perversely, enjoying myself reading the history of early radio. Sorry I do this to you. I bring up my old little history.
I love it. No. That sounds fascinating to me.
So when Marconi started with radio, the only way that they knew to do it was sparks. And a spark was released, and then they realized that, we can detect that some distance away in the ether. I love all the talk of the ether, right? But it was very, very crude. A spark basically sends a signal across every possible bandwidth. And it's called a damped signal, and it also fades quickly. So to make radio work at distance, they had to think scale. So it was ever bigger antennas and ever bigger dynamos to create ever bigger sparks. And they would wow people with how loud the spark was. It wasn't just it was a big spark, you could see it. It was loud spark. And so it was all tangible. Scale, until they learned about syntony, that is to say tuning. And they learned that they could tune the signal to one part of the airwaves or another. And so that was a mental breakthrough in how it worked that allowed much greater efficiency, and scale was no longer the answer to everything. And so, sorry for this long soliloquy here, but I think that AI right
it's
now...
totally related, it sounds like.
It's they need that next breakthrough so that it's not just, we don't know how this shit works. Sorry. We don't know exactly what to do to tune it and make it more powerful. So all we know to do is to throw more and more and more and more compute after it. And right now the VCs are saying, okay, take my money.
That was exactly going to be my point. And there are plenty of people with purses, full, jam-packed full of money, who see the money-making opportunity, who are perfectly willing to just throw that money at the scale problem, if it even is a problem to begin with. I mean, what you're alluding to is another related story, OpenAI's new partnership with Oracle and SoftBank. There they plan to build 5 new data centers in the U.S. under the Stargate initiative. That's going to boost power capacity for Stargate to nearly 7 gigawatts. And OpenAI says, it's going to add more jobs, 25,000 jobs. But no matter what, I mean, these are unprecedented deals, unprecedented numbers, and really seems to prove that OpenAI's big strategy is we are capitalizing on the continued moment that we are having. Everybody sees us as a dominant player. We have the ability to really do whatever we want. We can make the deals with the biggest companies, Nvidia, of course, making the deal with Nvidia, and that's just massive what's driving that deal. But it seems to assert OpenAI's belief that more compute equals better AI. And there's a lot of pushback. I mean, we talk about that a lot, on is that really the answer? And OpenAI apparently believes that it is. Nvidia, their business is driven upon the belief that it is. But is that actually where these gains come from? And right. I guess they're making the bet that it is, because they're in a great position to do so. What does that mean 5 years down the line? What does it mean? Are they able to prove that? And that's the real big question mark that I have.
Yeah, in a way, it only reveals how little they know about how these things operate.
Yeah,
They've created
totally,
this beast. And the beast is most days a very nice beast.
It'll tell you exactly what you want to hear.
Exactly. It's a sycophantic beast. It's a puppy. It occasionally pees on the rug, but it's otherwise a nice puppy.
Oh, it's so cute when it does, though. Unless it pees on the rug in a racist sort of way, and then it's not cute at all.
No, not at all cute. Yeah. But they don't know how it works, so they don't know how to advance it. Mm-hmm. The only way they know how to advance it is to get a bigger dynamo. Literally a bigger dynamo. It's the same exact thing as radio.
It's the same thing. No, I think it's a perfect
It's more
analogy.
Power. Did I do the transistor count in the OpenAI Texas on the show?
I don't
talked
think
to students about this. All right. So I think recently I held up a little tiny transistor.
Oh, yes, you did.
I did do that.
Yes, you did. A few weeks ago. In fact,
right.
It made the thumbnail.
112 quadrillion transistors in Texas. 112 quadrillion. I don't even know. I can't tell you how many zeros are in a quadrillion.
I was going to say, I don't even know how to conceptualize quadrillion.
And then they're going to build that again and again and again and again now with this Starwave. Is it
Stargate?
Stargate.
Right?
Thank you. Yeah, sorry, I got my science fiction references wrong.
Yes,
sorry.
exactly.
And so yeah, it's amazing to see where this goes. At some point, the money's going to dry up and they're not going to know what to do. But at some point between now and then, I think the hope of people like our friend Jan LeCun is that work will have progressed on other models and other ways to do this.
That this leads to other things, I suppose.
I didn't subject you to this. I looked at a 125-page PowerPoint from Jan LeCun gave to his students and graduates. And at the end of it, he said, if you want to work on AGI, insert Jarvis' dubious view of that here, he said, don't work on LLMs. Mm. And he focused on the next problems to be solved, some of which I can't even understand the expression of them in English, let alone the way that he expresses them. But I think that Karen Howe's concern is that all the money and all the resources, all the brain resources are going into this scale for scale's sake, rather than sending research into other promising areas.
Because research takes time.
Yeah.
And AI is very, what have you done for us lately? Like, what can you give us right now? And right now, the give is the LLM technology. That's an easy given. The research that leads to the next breakthrough, I don't know, that just takes time, that takes effort, and it's a little nebulous. So why not, invest in the thing that is immediate? The other concern or question that I have around this, talked about this on the Daily Tech News show with Tom Merritt yesterday, and so he kind of pushed back on it a little bit, was the environmental concern of all of this.
Yep.
Is, we're constantly kind of hearing in the conversation around, this type of scaling, that what is the impact it has on the environment? What kind of energy is being used here? Tom brought up a really good point that I hadn't really considered, which is that when you're talking about scale to this end, it's easy to think, oh man, it's going to impact, the environmental landscape tremendously. How could it not? But only if, potentially through this, there is faced a kind of coming up against the actual capacity of what we can do with like fossil fuel or whatever, where there is an absolute necessity to lean further into renewables in order to power this. And he's like, maybe this is the thing that forces that. Maybe this is the thing that makes it happen. And I hadn't really considered that. I don't know how likely that is to happen, but it was an interesting perspective that I hadn't thought of before.
So I'm going to apologize for what I'm about to say. Many years ago when I was in Davos, sorry that I said that.
Drink.
It was the first year I went, and Larry and Sergey were on an event, kind of a private event, and they were marveling at the idea of what happens when electricity becomes cheaper than generated with coal. Okay. And all the great things are going to happen in the world around when that happens. All the commerce and the improvement in life, and all that can unlock then, right? And I believe that. And I think that
Sure, I do too.
Wind power and solar power and all these other mechanisms that have brought down this. My friend Bill Gross at Idea Lab doing amazing companies moving cement blocks to store power, all kinds of advances in this area. But where is all this going now? Not to our own human lives, but to AI. And here in New Jersey, where I live, in the gubernatorial race, the cost of power is a huge issue in the election because all of our electric bills are going up. Why is it going up? Supply and demand.
Going up in California too, yeah, absolutely.
Right? And all these places are taking it. And so there's the environmental concern, there's the economic concern, and then the other part of the environmental concern is water and cooling for all of this.
That's true.
And one thing I've never understood is why are they putting these places in places like Texas and Arizona?
It's a good question.
Right?
There's got to be a reason. But yeah, why is that? I mean, is it just because they are the laws and regulations are such that they're more welcoming and
but there's water is scarce there.
Yeah, totally. No, I completely agree. Yeah. So it's interesting.
Yeah, fascinating story all around about the reveals. I think that Nvidia's stock went way up from this, which was interesting too. I think that it said that there's scale still has a lot of room left in it.
Yep. Clearly, and we're at the very beginning of this, so I'll be curious to see how that scale discussion, like if this is going to take a couple of years to kick into gear, what is the scale discussion in 2 years, let's say, when all of this is kicking in, and will it seem in hindsight like a good or a bad idea in retrospect?
Right. So looking back, the stock's back down a bit, but the stock took a 5% jump on this news of this of them losing money to giving money to OpenAI, but it's going to come back. What goes around comes around.
Yes, indeed. Well, okay. Great way to start things off here. Want to, real quick before we take a break, throw out a thank you to our patrons, patreon.com/AI Inside Show. This is how you, as a fan of the show, can follow and support us on a deeper level, and we really, really appreciate it. Patreon.com/AI Inside Show. Want to thank Chris Spackman, Stephen Kimbrough, and Rick, just a couple of our amazing patrons, for supporting us month after month.
Our three amigos.
Yes, and there are so many more amigos y amigas in our Patreon roll call coming up in the weeks ahead and months ahead. But
that's right. I don't know. One of them might. I don't. Yeah. Could be an amiga, so I should.
You never know. Yeah, we have them. Maybe not these three, but we definitely have them.
Yes.
Patreon.com/AI Inside Show. Thank you for your support. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I think we're going to kind of continue this conversation. Definitely a report on the other side of the break has exactly to do with what we were just discussing. That's coming up in a few. All right, Jeff, you put into the rundown Bain and Co. Maybe I should have heard of before, but
they're a huge consulting company.
Okay.
I worked with them when I was at Condé Nast years ago, but they're like McKinsey,
okay,
slightly nicer.
Nicer as in they dress nicer, or nicer?
No, nobody likes McKinsey. McKinsey comes in and all it says is, "We're going to tell you how you can fire people."
Okay, I got you. Well, the very nice folks at Bain and Company have
are depressed.
Global technology report that ties into what we just discussed on the other side of the break. The report says that companies like OpenAI are spending massive amounts of money on data centers, but struggling to match the outpouring of cash with real revenue. I don't think this is necessarily news. I think this has been an ongoing conversation. Folks like Gary Marcus are talking about this a lot and have been for, gosh, as long as I've been following Gary the last couple of years. But this report predicts that by 2030, AI companies will need $2 trillion in annual revenue to support their growth, and that actual income may be $800 billion short for that. So overall, monetizing the products like ChatGPT services lagging well behind actual costs for all of the infrastructure that powers it. And you can now see why this totally applies with what we were talking about. Those potential breakthroughs could really shift the math, shift the algebra, but that's overall kind of an uncertain look. That's where we are right now. We don't actually know where all this is heading. But Jeff, you put this in here. You did some digging into a few things that caught your attention. I'm curious.
If you go to line 26, there's two charts there that I think are very telling.
Okay.
So, and by the way, I don't think it's algebra. I think it's just arithmetic.
Yeah, right. Yes.
100 minus, yeah. So the second
26.
No, actually, the next one. It's because you got to go through too many pages there. If you go to the next one and they run down. Line 26? Yeah, line 26.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay, so line 26 is those key charts. Okay, got it.
So if you go to the second chart that's there, that's the one you just spoke about. So that says that there's an $800 billion shortfall of revenue against cost based on this scale spending. Okay. And so they're tracking out, and we don't know what's going to happen with the spending. That could be wrong. There could be a breakthrough. There could be more efficiency. There could be other things. There could be more competition that lowers costs. There could be things that change this. But where we're headed, that sounds about right. What struck me, Jason, is the other chart, the one above that, is that this is the crunch on Moore's Law, that the demand for compute is growing twice as fast as chip efficiency. So often in the past, we got better computers and better phones and better everything because of Moore's Law. It gave us more power at an equal or lower cost, and we got more functionality as a result, right? Yes. So we rode with Moore's Law. Now, this hyper demand for scale is above Moore's Law. And that's why the expenses are going to be so high, because you can't just say we're going to have more powerful chips at the same or a lower cost and we can grow along with it. Instead, they're saying, we need double what fate is giving us in Moore's Law. That really struck me. And look at the training compute in flops. Right? That the compute demand is 4.5 times more. Oh, sorry, put it this way. Chip efficiency grows 2x every 2 years. That's Moore's Law. Compute demand grows 4.5x every year.
Wow. Okay.
So there's a huge gap there. And the only way you make up that gap is huge investment in buying more chips and more compute and more gigawatts of compute, as they now like to say. That really hit me. That was, I think, a very interesting analysis here. So Bain is saying, the other thing to keep in mind here, and it goes back to what we just talked about the economy and the negative piece of, for example, me paying more for my electric bill in New Jersey. The other thing that the analyst said, there was another story in the FT that talked about this as well, is that all of this spending on AI is basically bolstering the United States out of recession. Were it not for all this spending on AI, we would be in recession.
Oh, interesting.
It's very interesting, but that also makes me feel very vulnerable.
Yeah, very, yes.
Because if suddenly analysts and companies say, "Oh, the money's not here,"
right?
I don't know.
When things begin to start seeming like they're falling off a cliff in the AI funding world, the returns are not there, signaling alert. I mean, yeah, that could be a big deal. Kind of reminds me. I mean, I don't know if it would be of the same scale, but of the kind of like the housing market kind of crash of 2008 potentially.
Yeah, and also the 2001 crash or 2000 crash of the internet. That VC money was holding up all of these sites that didn't deserve to be held up because the audience wasn't there.
Yeah, accurate.
So I went to. I'm on the not invited list anymore for Davos, which is fine. But I went to a World Economic Forum virtual event yesterday for the AI governance forum that I'm part of. And one person, it's Chatham House rule, so I won't quote who, one person said that they're getting all kinds of financial benefit in their company because of AI, that it's real. So I said, gee, it'd be a good project for the forum to try to get to real numbers, because the perception right now is going the other way, is that the value isn't fully there. And I don't know which is true, But if it is true that there's value there, you're going to have to show receipts for this pretty soon. Yeah. Or else the market is going to say 800 billion shortfall. I don't know if you're worth it. Yeah.
I mean, there has to be a point at which that value is proven. You can't just continue taking a flyer indefinitely. Yeah.
Yep.
Especially with the amount of money that's being thrown around for this stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Well, that is the Bain report. Bain and
That's
Co's.
enough to depress you for the day, but we're not finished depressing you yet.
No, and I'm happy you put this next one in here because it definitely caught my attention over the weekend. I was like, I have to read that on the other side of the weekend because sometimes during the weekend I tune out for technology stuff just to give my brain a break. But I did see this headline and I had it marked to read, and you put it in there. HBR posted its own research along with Stanford Social Media Lab. They were looking at the use of AI in the workplace. What they found was an increase in what the report calls workslop, which I mean makes sense. At this point, any AI output that people don't really like is kind of termed slop, and so this would be slop in the workplace.
Well, I like a taxonomy of slop.
Yes,
right? There's work slop. There's culture slop.
Yes,
there's
music slop.
Music slop. Right.
Absolutely, there's slop all over the place. The slop is slapping. Output or content just basically looking polished on the surface, but lacking any sort of deeper level of substance is kind of what the report more or less defines as work slop. And so employees using these AI services, using these AI tools, producing quick reports, that are AI generated, quick summaries, slides, that sort of stuff, which, by the way, I might point out is what these tools are being marketed as being good at, right? Like Google's all about it. Use Gemini to create your next slide for work. So you've got companies like Google saying, use our tools to do these things. Then you've got employees using those tools to do those things. Then you've got people who hate AI saying, or rather hate poor work, probably is more like it, looking at the results of that and saying, well, why did you use those tools for those things? Probably the company allowing it, and saying, hey, why don't you use these tools for these things? So anyways, who's at fault? I don't know, but nonetheless, sloppy output that requires more time on the back end to reinterpret it, to redo it, and creating just kind of a burden downstream from that effort.
AI is kind of the boss's nephew you get stuck with as an intern. Right? Oh my God, it's creating more work for me to deal with this dork.
Totally.
If I could just do the work myself, I'd be in better shape, but they're making me do this.
Yes.
One of the podcasts I listened to about media, I heard Business Insider has now been told that they can just use AI to write the first draft of stories. They don't even have to say that they did it. And it's still on you. If there's any mistakes, you should correct them and so on and so forth, but go ahead, do it. Mm-hmm. And this is the company Axel Springer in Germany that also owns Politico and Bild and Welt and other publications in Germany. Matthias Döpfner, the CEO, is AI mad. He loves AI, and he's insisting he's using AI in all of his stuff and all of his memos and emails and everything else. And you all must use AI. So the problem is that if you're given this assignment and you're told you must use it, and it really isn't helping you and it's making you more inefficient, you are not motivated to say so, because it's the boss's nephew. Yeah. And you don't dime the boss's nephew for doing bad work. You say the boss's nephew is doing a fine job, boss. Yes, right. Pat on the back. So companies aren't getting honest answers, I think, here because of the internal pressures being put on employees to use AI because AI is somehow going to do better. I go back to what I said to the World Economic Forum. I think every company that's using it should have hard efforts to find metrics of impact. Mm-hmm. Compare the before and after. Get honest appraisals from your employees. Some employees are slackers. They don't want to use it. They're sticks in the mud. They're old farts. They're young farts. That's all a factor too. But to just put this on, hey, everybody must use AI, is hiding the reality of where you go. So
And I'm sure there are workers who, when faced with the boss's nephew, which is the new code word for companies pushing AI tools out to their employees, who are presented with the boss's nephew. Like, I'm sure there are the employees who use it and don't like the results that they get out of it, and then don't use it but don't say anything about it. There's probably also the employees who use it, might even recognize that the results aren't as good as if they had spent 3x the time to do it themselves. But the company line is, use these tools, it's okay. And so then their attention / ethic is potentially transformed by this new rule of using these tools. And maybe that reflects the lower kind of burning desire or need to make it better, because I used the tools you said, it gave me the thing. That's good enough, right?
Right.
I don't have to do any more work than
this.
this.
Standard, yeah.
Yeah, it sets the standard. That's a better way to put it. Absolutely. Yeah, potentially. And what does that do for the people you work with and their view of your work when they're used to getting work from you that they detect or they seem to believe is AI, Workslop versus actual quality work? This guy's lazy or whatever the case may be.
Well, it's also interesting. I've seen some stuff going through the papers about using AI as a proxy for management. So it's interesting that there's both top and bottom. There's bottom-up Workslop, your employees, but there's also top Workslop. Oh, the managers are using this now to decide who to hire and fire and send out memos, just like Matthias Döpfner said.
Totally.
And so why is that the boss anymore?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the boss GPT.
Yes.
Boss GPT. There's probably a lot of truth in that, actually. There's probably a lot of people who are doing a lot of their boss work with the use or with the advisory of a GPT.
I once worked with somebody I really liked working for, and it was a family-owned company. And there'd be times when I would try to, and this was a boss who encouraged disagreement and was fine with it and wanted it. But there'd be times when I would try to disagree over something and I would hit this brick wall. And I couldn't figure out what the brick wall was. Why am I not even making any progress in having the discussion? Pardon me. Because oftentimes it wasn't the person I was talking to, I was arguing with. It was somebody else in the company. It was a relative that they were representing. And they didn't necessarily believe it themselves, or they didn't know the full rationale themselves, but they were not going to disagree with their family member against me. Mm-hmm. And so my point here is, sorry for this long circuitous thing, sometimes you don't know who you're arguing with.
Yeah.
And I can see a case where your boss used AI to come up with some plan and didn't really grok it fully themselves and didn't create it themselves and don't necessarily understand it themselves. And you try to say, boss, this doesn't work, but the boss is going to get defensive because the boss doesn't know what the plan is. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you're not arguing with the boss, you're arguing with ChatGPT.
You're right. Yeah, so true. Yeah, interesting. See, now you need to use your ChatGPT and collect all of those voice recordings that you surreptitiously recorded every time you talk to your boss. Feed those into ChatGPT and get an understanding on how you approach the situation.
Right.
Give me 3 alternative ways to approach my boss in the future, knowing what you know now. Oh, boy. Yes. And you know what? You probably won't even have to surreptitiously record because you'll just be wearing smart glasses that do it for you.
Yep.
This is the world. This is the future. Hey Jeff, good news.
Yeah,
good news,
what's
Jeff?
that? What's that, Jay? What's that, boss?
Gemini coming to Chrome in a more kind of cohesive way, including agents eventually.
Let me look
Aren't you
and
excited?
see if I have it in Chrome. No, I don't.
Cue Jeff's disappointment when he realizes once again it won't work inside of Workspace. Sad trombone.
I called a PR guy at Google involved with Chromebooks. We went over this. Why don't I have Chrome in my browser? And it's it's Workspace.
Yeah. It's always Workspace.
Yep.
With you, it will always be Workspace until Google makes some major change to how it tackles,
treats its paying customers.
It just I know.
Sorry,
it's
folks.
so it doesn't make any sense.
Calm down now.
I'm sure it makes sense to Google, sure they're like, well, we just have to protect them because they're paying more. But it doesn't make sense as a consumer. It doesn't make any sense. For the rest of us, though, sorry, Chrome with that little Gemini button up at the top, which you can see if you're watching the video version. I have a Chrome browser open to show at the top of my browser is that little button. I can click that.
Now,
and I don't know if you're going to see the overlay. Oh, no, you're not going to see the overlay because of the way I'm sharing to StreamYard. But yeah.
Oh, this upsets me so.
This is my personal account that I'm logged into, by the way, not my Workspace account. It would probably be different, Jeff. We'd be on the same page if I was logged into my Workspace account. Anyways,
the thing is, I want to Google. Want to. You have somebody who's dying to use Gemini in Chrome.
Of course.
Because I want to see all the ways that it can affect, good and bad, what I do every day. And the browser is my window upon almost every function that I have. Everything.
Yeah, totally.
I'm using it in Mail. I'm using it in Drive. I'm using it elsewhere. You don't have to sell the browser. It's yours. You're okay now. You can do this. It's okay. Just do it for me, please, please, please. Do I have to write a suck-up book about Google, huh? Do I have to write another one? Get this.
Right. Jeez. Yeah, maybe that's what you need to do. All you got to do is write a book about Google.
Yeah.
And then you've got it problem solved.
That didn't do me any
good. It had rolled out. This feature has, by the way, I've had this feature for at least a couple of months. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying it had rolled out to
me. That's what you're saying for.
Paid AI Pro and AI Ultra users. But now it's rolling out to everyone except for Jeff. So you can use
world, it except me.
To query Gemini on the tab that's being shown. You can also, it will integrate into Google's apps that you might be using. So if you happen to have, Calendar or YouTube launched inside of your browser, that button will kind of integrate into.
Is it aware of the tabs in the way that you tested it out, the Comet browser from Perplexity?
It is. It does work across multiple tabs at once. But my experience with the Gemini integration versus what I use Comet for has been that it doesn't generally give me what I'm looking for. It doesn't do it as well, which is weird.
Interesting.
Because it's Gemini and it's in Chrome. Like
it knows everything you know.
Yeah, totally. But I encounter more kind of speed bumps along the way with Gemini than I do with Perplexity's Comet, for the kind of the multiple browser, contextualize all the tabs that are open, that sort of stuff. So, maybe that'll get better. But this is a broadening out of Google's efforts to bring Gemini into Chrome. I think beyond this, things are going to get more Comet-like in the sense that the agentic stuff is also coming soon, according to Google. So maybe something more like what Perplexity has with Comet, more like what OpenAI has with Operator. So performing multiple tasks, without as much guidance between the tabs on behalf of the user, booking appointments, ordering groceries, that sort of stuff. I'm sure that's coming to Gemini in the Chrome browser at some point once the agentic features are rolling out. So, yeah. I mean, and we've talked plenty of times on the show in the past about why isn't Google doing this already? Apparently they're working on it. They're taking the slow and steady approach. Also bringing more omnibar functionality. So I think, ask about this page. So this is like a AI mode integration into this. Search anything. Oh, so this is saying Google Lens. So if I do that, let's see here. Ask about this page. Okay. What is the news? I don't know. Can you see what I'm doing right now? Okay. Because sometimes it does it. Okay. So now it's AI moding. All right. AI overview. So dive deeper with AI mode. Okay. So it says that AI mode is going to be integrated into the omnibar with ask about this page, but it's not like it's giving me direct AI mode results. This was more like AI overview. Anyways, I haven't played around with this aspect of it. I just know that it's rolling out. So maybe I'm missing something, but there you go. And then Gemini coming to TVs in the form of Google TV, which...
What do you think of this?
Well, I think what I think of this is it's about time. I got the Google TV streamer, I don't know how many months ago, and it is Google's streaming box device. and it has Gemini for things like summarizing the plot of a movie that you're about to watch or whatever. It gives you like an AI generated summary thanks to Gemini. And I don't know if those are predetermined and inserted in or if they're done on the fly, but it does that. It also summarizes feedback or ratings and reviews from people. Most people think that this is blah, 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 but some people said they didn't like it because blah, blah, blah. Gives you that sort of stuff, but it doesn't give you direct access to Gemini the way it is now. It's like Gemini for a few things, and you have no real interactivity with it, but any of the interactive elements are Google Assistant, which is Google's kind of on the way out the door. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. In fact, AI solution. And so it was kind of confusing because both existed at the same time. And it was like, well, why can't it just be all the good thing or all the new thing or whatever? So now they're saying Assistant going to say goodbye, going to be replaced with Gemini, and that Gemini will do all the things that Assistant could do, which I will believe that when I see it, because they say that a lot, and then you get it and you're like, oh, well, actually it doesn't do this thing, and it's a little frustrating. But I think it's good news. It's good news. I'm just surprised that it didn't roll out on Google's own hardware. It rolls out first on a TCL QM9K TV set. It's a $300 or a $3,000 TV set.
Brand. And plus, this is Google and branding. Love you guys, Google, but Jesus, you're branding. So what is Google TV? So there's Google TV that is a streaming service or a combination of streaming services.
Platform.
There is Google TV that is a television set with Google built in. And then there's Chromecast, but there's also the higher end Chromecast. Isn't that Google TV?
Yeah.
When they say it's coming to Google TV, what exactly do they mean?
Chromecast is really on the way out. I think that the Chromecast brand is pretty much done. Like, there might still be devices out there, but they're not really doing Chromecast anymore.
So that's a Google TV streamer, right? So when they say it's coming to Google TV, I just look, right?
Yeah, I see.
Which version of Google TV you're talking about? That's three different things.
Google TV is like, it is very confusing because Google does what Google does. It names its things very strangely, and then it changes it down the line, whatever. It used to be Android TV. Now it's Google TV. Google TV is basically a version of Android designed for TV sets.
So having the Google TV streamer.
Designed to be operated on a TV.
Right, but having the Google TV streamer, the little white thing, the little white puck, that's not getting this.
No, that's not getting this update yet, but it will by the end of the year, I think Google's saying. But yeah, Google TV is like the Android operating system that either is powering TVs, so TVs, can have Google TV be the OS of choice, or these set-top boxes like the Google TV streamer. Google TV might be the OS for that, or actually is the OS for that. It's just, for whatever reason, the TCL implementation of Google TV, the operating system, has Gemini before any of the other implementations do.
So let me guess how this is going to turn out. I'm going to wait a few weeks. I'm going to go to Best Buy. I'm going to spend more money on a TV because I want this wonderful functionality. I come home, I set it all up. It's going to ask me to sign into my Google account, and it's going to say, "Not you, sucker." Right? That's what's going to happen. I know it.
Probably. Yeah. If you're signing into yours, yes, we know how this goes.
Yes. Sorry. I can't. I know I'm tiresome with this, but Jesus, Google.
I just wish it would change. I wish it for you.
Thank you.
And then finally, Google is also bringing Gemini to the Play Store in a deeper way. Oh, where is the thing? There we go. Oh, apparently I'm blocking ads on this page. Hey, sorry. Let's disable. It's like, nope, not going to show it to you on Mint. They are adding a Gemini-powered Sidekick, which is this kind of slide-out window. If you happen to be on your Android device, you're playing a game, supported games will have the ability to summon Gemini live through this Sidekick is what they're calling it. And so that allows you to talk with Gemini in real time with the context of what's happening on your screen so that you can do things like get tips and tricks and how do I beat this boss and all that sort of stuff about the
track your scores and other things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot of other features that like achievements and tracking your scores and everything. I think the real AI juice of this is the kind of conversational Gemini Live experience while you're playing a game. So that, because you can imagine as a game player sitting next to someone on the couch, like, oh, what you need to do, you need to go through that door to blah, blah, blah. Instead, you could talk to Gemini. Gemini could be your gaming assistant. It can help you get through that door or whatever. So anyways, Google doing lots of things with Gemini, integrating into more services of its apps and all that stuff, of which Jeff will have access to not much of it at all.
None.
But if you go to gemini.google.com, that works for you, right? With
yeah. No, I get it all the time. I mean,
it's just
if I go into the what do they call it? The one box, the search.
Yeah, the Omnibox.
Let me just do that again. What do you call it again?
The Omnibox? Are you talking about the like?
So there it says
URL bar?
AI mode. I can click on it. I get AI mode. What I get is a separate tab that doesn't know anything about the browser.
Okay.
Right?
It's the deeper integration that you're just not getting.
I can open Gemini, but it's a separate web app or web page.
Right.
I can get Gemini in Gmail. I can get Gemini in Drive. But on the web itself, what I still get is this horrible weak T, summarize this page, sounding like a fourth grader's book report. This page is about computers.
Right.
And it never says anything more. And you ask me a question. Okay, ask you a question. I don't really have a good answer. That's what I'm getting now.
So useful.
If I mock you enough, useful. Google, will you do something, please?
Yeah, I don't know that that's the way to Google's heart, but it doesn't matter. I don't think they're going to do it anyway.
No, they don't care about me. They don't care about me.
They for whatever reason have decided, because this has been going on for years at this point.
Forever.
This is just the way the way they do business, apparently, which is interesting. Interesting choice, but okay. Well, real quick, if you're enjoying this show, please leave us a review. Apple Podcasts, great place to start. If you haven't left a review in a while, go back there, update it. Maybe we've impressed you so much that you up your. I think they're all 5 stars, which is great. But if you haven't placed one, place one. Give us another 5 or a 4 or whatever you believe. But we really appreciate it. It's a big help to getting the word out on this show. And we'll take a quick break, do a little lightning round on the other side of it. And that's coming up here in a moment. We've talked on the show about is it Huxe?
I have no idea how to pronounce it. We'll have to ask their AI how to pronounce their AI.
Yeah. Maybe we need to do that.
It
looks like Huxe.
AI.
Huxe.ai. That's right. Developed by 3 former NotebookLM developers. It is a audio-focused app that creates AI-generated podcast-style discussions on news topics. So it's kind of a news app combined with NotebookLM.
But also kind of on your life.
Yeah, that's true.
This is going to be Jason's day today. Oh, it looks like a pretty dull day. Yeah, he's still in the garage.
Yeah, he's still, yes, totally. Still pulling up the corner of the garage. Might take the dog for a walk. You never know. If he's got a wild hair, he might just take the dog outside for a bit. Exciting stuff. Yeah, it has live stations, which is a feature that pushes topic updates, personalized content feed, all this kind of stuff. Well, we're talking about it because they have raised $4.6 million, now available to everyone. It had been invite only as of, I think, June. And I'm trying to remember. I think I installed it because wasn't it only iOS there for
it was for a while, so I couldn't get it. Once again, I'm cut out.
Jeez.
I met these folks. I met the team when I visited with Stephen Johnson at NotebookLM in the early days of it, and they're a very impressive team. And then when they left, I thought, oh no, what's going to happen to NotebookLM? And NotebookLM has done tons of amazing things since, and now they've started their own company.
Yeah. Yeah, NotebookLM is integrated into the recorder app on the Pixel. It's pretty awesome.
Oh,
so the voice recorder app, which I use actually a lot now. It's great for like interviews or informational things or whatever. And so now, like, I record my voice note, my thing, and then I just send it right through to NotebookLM. It creates a workbook in NotebookLM with that as the source. It just does it all like with a single click. It's really, really useful. Anyways, this is is now out for iOS, yes, but also for Android. So if you are on Android and you want to use it, you can. What this reminded me of, and I hope this works because I don't have a top-down camera to show it off, but I did a review for ZDNet this week, or published a review earlier this week on a phone, an Android phone, which you probably haven't heard of, the TCL Nextpaper 60 Ultra. It is a 7.2-inch display, so it's a huge phone. But a whole lot of interesting aspects about this phone with the display technology that kind of resembles e-ink and everything. So it's really good for reading and everything. But the reason I'm bringing it up right now is because, and let me switch my camera away, is because it has a feature that's kind of similar to what Lux is doing. And it has this like bookshelf. When it's in e-reader mode, everything gets black and white, and I have this bookshelf. And so this is the Odyssey of Homer. So this will be interesting. But if I show the settings down at the bottom, it has a little kind of like podcast area where, let's see here, this little, it's hard for me to do this backwards. And so it will turn it either into an audiobook, or it will, if I hit AI podcast.
Boy, Homer had a rough trip.
Yeah, right. And the only reason I bring, and so it's a 40-minute podcast. And I mean,
is this Huxe or is this the phone?
No, this is the phone. The reason I'm bringing it up is because I think features like this are starting to kind of become a little more prevalent in smartphones, whether they're using Huxe or NotebookLM or whatever. They're all kind of trying to do their own thing. And I just haven't really heard one that I'm like, I totally want to listen to 40 minutes of that. I would never listen to that start to finish.
No,
no. Just
so I installed Huxe, and this is the problem with all of these AI things now. It wants you to connect to your Gmail and your calendar and stuff to be able to give you those services, but you've got to be comfortable with connecting these things.
Yeah,
with a third party.
Yeah,
so
at the very least, be aware that is happening.
Know what you're connected to.
Know what you're connecting it to. Yeah, that's certainly a big aspect of this. And it's not like we haven't gone through this a million times before. In the early kind of app boom days when kind of integrations were first happening and everybody's like, heck yeah, let's just go. And then you realize, 5 years later that like the list of places you've shared all of your Gmail inbox with is, like 100 companies, 95 of which you haven't used in 4 years. You're like, oh, that was maybe a bad idea. So yeah, be aware. Speaking of aware, SEO clarity. Oh,
this is its good afternoon, Jeff. Let's see if it gets past the.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Jeff, welcome in.
Thanks.
Good afternoon. Looks like you're catching this right in the middle of your Wednesday.
And welcome to the Huxe app. By the way, if you ever want your calendar and email woven into this rundown, just link them up in the app anytime.
Yeah, share your data.
And business stories lined up for you. From some big moves at OpenAI to a wave of changes hitting social platforms and the art world.
We'll dig into the news next. Let's get right to what's shaping up.
The voices are better than what I just played, that's for sure.
Let's dive into the top headlines from tech, entertainment, science,
and I marked off things that interested me.
Okay.
There's been some huge breaking news, so let's get straight to it.
Okay, get to it.
OpenAI just announced 5 new Stargate data.
Well, you don't need you for that. You all you have to do is listen to AI inside.
Yeah, right. Turn it off, Jeff. People don't need to know about this app. I need to edit this out. People definitely don't need to know about this app. No, I mean, that's, the audio quality sounded pretty good. I mean, the voice quality, it's getting better, but it still has just that weird kind of cadence thing.
It does.
Do you think eventually that gets to a point where we're like, I love it? What are you doing now?
Let's see if it works. No. Crap. I just went to 2x speed, but it's not doing it. That'll be really great to talk as fast as I do.
Yeah. I can only usually go to like 1.3x or 1.4 maybe on playback speed.
Oh, you see, I'm obviously a very fast talker. And today, I bought a new audiobook, McEwen's new book I was listening to, and for some reason, it ignored my speed. And it strikes me as very freaky to listen to what they think is the normal speed of speech. It drives me completely insane. So I immediately, get up to 1.7 or above.
Yeah, I guess it depends on where it starts. I mean, if I listen to an audiobook and it's something that's not just like lighthearted and easy, fluffy, whatever. Oh, did it do it?
It sounds like you're looking for a way to adjust the settings so you can listen at your preferred, faster pace. Most audiobook apps
it was listening to us.
controls.
Oh, okay, great. Thanks.
Or me.
Yes, thanks a lot. Nice to know. Yeah.
Stop.
Interesting. All right. Let's see here. What else do we got? SEO Clarity has been researching, apparently, I hadn't heard about this until this link that you put in there, how ChatGPT and Google compare in terms of search volume. And the group has announced that it refined a model because it had estimated initially that it sat somewhere between 3 and 8% of Google's daily search volume. And that was from an initial report.
This is how many searches are made on each of the competitors.
Oh, okay. All right. So now they're saying they estimate ChatGPT handles about 1 billion search-like tasks per day based on data from June 2025. They had overestimated 9% in the earlier reports. Sorry, I got that wrong. Earlier report, they put that at like 9% of Google's daily search volume. Now they're correcting that somewhere between 3 and 8%, I guess. Is that right?
Which is still considering, impenetrable, invincible Google, that's the beginning of a slice out of their hide.
For sure. And that's just ChatGPT. There are others out there that have their own search products. And
so before we went on, I saw another. So last week, I think we talked about a paper that looked at what ChatGPT versus Google linked to. And ChatGPT links to next to no social and a high proportion of editorial, that is to say, earned in PR terms, content. Then today, I just saw, right before we went on, Schibsted, the company I admire greatly from the Nordics, media company, did a presentation on the click-through that they're finding from ChatGPT. And the common view of this in the media world is, they don't send any traffic to us. They don't send crap to us. And I wish this had compared it to Google. But interestingly, they said that for Aftonbladet in Sweden, they listed 7 million impressions. Click-through runs about 1.2%. By contrast, smaller titles get 1.8 to 1.6%. Interestingly, opinion pieces massively outperform all other categories at a 5% click-through, far above news, 1.1%, and sports, 1.2%, or business, 1.2%. Readers in ChatGPT are seeking perspective and interpretation, not just straight facts.
Right.
So all this, oh no, it's going to kill us in news. No, if you have your actual human perspective, and if you allow them to scrape you, by the way, then you can get some click-through here. But if you're going to block them all, as is happening, and another story that happened this week is that, it's a lightning round. I'm throwing in 5 more stories. But
more lightning.
What's the senior moment? The company that protects us all from
Anthropic?
From the internet.
Cloudflare.
Thank you, Cloudflare. So they put up a news service enabling journalists and local news to opt out of all scraping. And I complained about this. People said, "Well, it's an opt-in. They can choose to do it." I said, "Right, but they're encouraging something that says that no one will discover them. They won't be part of this click-through, and then they're going to complain more." So
yeah,
interesting stuff all around on the relationship of AI to old media.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, segue.
Speaking of which, let me find out the actual order that I have here, because I think my notes are maybe.
Microsoft is looking to build an AI marketplace.
There we go.
For
Thank
publishers.
you. Yes.
I could have done it too. I'm sorry.
Microsoft publishers AI marketplace.
Jason is used to operating in a NASA world with screens and all kinds of things going on. Now he's got a laptop in the garage.
Yeah, it's a small laptop. But hey, I'm making it work.
You are.
I just have to click around hidden windows and stuff sometimes, so I'm a little slower. This is called Publisher Content Marketplace. Its aim is to compensate publishers for content used in AI tools. It's beginning with Copilot, of course. This is kind of Microsoft is looking to kind of set this off anyways. Will launch with select partners, plans for an expansion down the line. The model focuses on per-use payments instead of upfront licensing, which you have mentioned many times on the show. This upfront licensing approach tends to not do a whole lot for any of the smaller players. And yeah, so do you like this kind of approach more?
Yeah, it's fine, but I think it still doesn't. We don't know what the business model of AI is going to be, and so to know what's the pie you're splitting up, is it blueberry or is it Mississippi mud pie? We don't know, and so I think it's interesting. So I'm right now researching a next project, and I just read the volume 1, issue 1 of Radio Broadcast Magazine, which is fascinating. Because there was no mention, they were trying to figure out what the business model of this stuff's going to be. No mention of advertising, no thought of advertising. In fact, advertising would be a bad thing. We probably should avoid it.
Right.
And it's fascinating. The business model at first was RCA selling radio sets. Full stop, selling the hardware. It's very Apple, right? And so I think we're at that point in AI. We don't know what the model is. So it was fine for Microsoft to do this and make nice with publishers. It's all okay. But it's not a real model. The money's going to be de minimis. We've got to learn more.
But I mean, don't you get closer to the answer of what the business model is by trying things like this?
Absolutely. All right. So I'm not complaining about this at all.
Yeah.
But I just don't think one shouldn't put too much hope and credence into this is our salvation. No, because the money's not going to be much.
We figured it out. Hurrah!
Right. So yes, by all means, experiment. By all means.
And finally, Meta has created a new super PAC.
You see, what might they care about in their political views, Jason?
Well, they want strict. They want to have a way to push back on strict AI and tech regulations.
I'm shocked.
I would put in parentheses strict AI and tech regulations that it doesn't like.
Right.
Because they have said plenty of times in the past that they're open and okay and welcome regulation. But at the end of the day, they want to shape the regulation that is going through and, push back on the regulation that doesn't line up with their own objectives.
And importantly, this isn't just regulation at the federal level in the U.S.
Right.
It's also at the state
level. Yeah, largely at the state level. Yes. Managed by Republican operative Brian Baker, supported by Democratic consulting firm Hilltop Public Solutions. So they're also aiming to elect pro-AI candidates from both parties at the state level, like you said.
At the state level, yep.
Really,
because that's where there was this effort to include in the big beautiful bill a prohibition on state level regulation of AI, and at the last minute that got killed. So California is passing things. We're waiting to see whether Newsom is going to sign an AI bill coming up. So there's going to be a lot of action on the state level here.
Yep. And we will certainly talk about it when it happens. We've reached the end of this episode of the AI Inside podcast. Jeff Jarvis, always fun getting a chance to do this with you and to learn every single time a little more about this complicated world of artificial intelligence. Jeff writes plenty of fascinating books and content at jeffjarvis.com. So Gutenberg parenthesis, of course, magazine, The Web We Weave, and Hot Type coming soon. Probably 3 other books that Jeff's working behind the scenes on or conceptualizing at this point. So you're a busy, busy man.
Yeah.
And I respect you for that. jeffjarvis.com. Thank you again, Jeff.
Thank you, boss.
And then we also have, of course, AI Inside, the website, AIinside.show, where you can go for all of our show notes. You can find links to every story that we talk about, by the way, there. Subscribe links, so you can subscribe wherever you want to, including just straight RSS. You can find it there. You can find our reviews. Maybe that's a nice reminder to leave us one. And then finally, if you really, really, really like us and you want to throw a few bones our way, you can do that. Patreon.com/AI Inside Show. You can become, even at the top level, an executive producer of the show, like Dr. Do, Jeffrey Maricini, Radio Asheville 103.7, Dante St. James, Bono Day Rick, Jason Knifer, Jason Brady, Anthony Downs, Mark Starcher, and Bronson, my dog, who just walked in, so I might as well throw him a bone as well.
Speaking of throwing bones.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, everybody, for your support. Thank you for really driving the success of the show, the existence of this show, let's say. So thank you for that.
Thank you all.
Fun times, Jeff. I'll see you on the other side of a trip to Ireland that I am going to go to the airport.
Accent, please.
I will come back with a full belly of Guinness and plenty to talk about, I'm sure, because I think I'm going to be seeing some Irish companies in the tech space for sure. Possibly some of them have to do with AI. Maybe I can even score an interview for the AI Inside podcast. So lots of fun on the horizon. And that's about it. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time on AI Inside. Take care.